My wife was the one that kind of actually introduced me to Lucas. I felt overweight. I felt sluggish. I felt slow. I was just in a stage where I would look at myself in the mirror and it was kind of like, I know you can do better. Everybody seems to have a lot of problems, but the second you don't have health, your number one problem is just quite frankly that, right? I feel a lot healthier. I feel a lot more energized. I feel stronger. I feel there's just so many areas of my health that has improved. This is like exactly what I need to change my health journey and to jumpstart it.
All right, everyone, welcome to this little interview. I'm here with my wonderful client, Landon. I guess, yeah, Landon, please introduce yourself. Who am I here with? Tell me a bit also about yeah, your journey
Yeah,
and yeah.
I'd love to. My name's Landon Holman. I'm 33 years old, and honestly, my wife was the one that kind of actually introduced me to Lucas. She followed you on Instagram, and I had been telling her I kind of wanted to get in shape and change some things about dieting and exercise and all this. And in the exercise world, there's lots of fluff out there. I'd say like there's lots of people that are like, just put whatever in your body to look ripped and to look shredded. And for me, it wasn't about just looking that way. Like obviously, I want to look healthy and look strong, but more importantly, I want to be healthy and I want to be strong and mentally, physically, in every aspect of my life. And so that's initially what attracted me to wanting to even just hop on a call and to chat with you was because of just the different approach to it. And my wife had kind of planted that seed a little bit, like, hey, it looks like this guy does things differently. You should check it out and at least hop on a call with him. And honestly, it's been really cool. So that's kind of where the journey began, and it's fun. Almost 6 months later, it's fun to see like the before and after, where we started and where we're at now.
Yeah, I think our like initial story is pretty fun because we actually went on a call. It must be over a year ago at this
Yeah,
point. I think it was
that's
like
actually true.
May or something, 2024. And I remember you told me like, hey, my wife just found you. She was like, check this out. Let's see. I'm looking for this, whatever. But actually, on that call, you hesitated a bit, right? Yeah, you wasn't fully sure. Then a couple months later, January this year, I know you reached out, jumped on a call again. Now we're ready. So I want to hear
That's
that.
actually true.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny because I remember like that first call, I was really impressed, but I wasn't 100% convinced because I was like, and it wasn't anything really that you had said. I also needed to be in the right space and place. Like, do I want to commit to this? And I knew that it was going to be a commitment. And I was like, I'm not going to jump into this unless I'm 100% ready to commit to it. And I had a ton of excuses popping up in my head. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be traveling soon for work. I travel a bunch for work, and it's going to be inconvenient, and it's going to be hard, and maybe there will be a more perfect and better time later on to do this. And what I found is life was not getting any more perfect, and it wasn't getting more ideal. And it was just like I think we kind of connected off of that at first. I was like, look, man, like I'm hoping that like this is a better time or season in my life to do this, but there's no better time than the present. Like it took me a couple months to just realize I just got to do this. I got to make a change, you know?
yeah. You usually have to unfortunately learn that the hard way. You hear all the people saying this all the time to you, but unfortunately, you have to put it to practice yourself. But I think, yeah, I think it's very funny, and as you said there as well, and it's very important to point out, like it's a very good self-reflection to know like when you are actually 100% ready to commit to something as well, because if you don't go into something like wholeheartedly or whatever you say,
Yeah.
then are you really gonna get as much out of it as you could if you're doing something 100%? And I think that's for everything in life. If I tell all the people that I'm working with all the time, like if you do, like I can only motivate you so much. It has to come from within. It has to be something inside of you that actually want to do this, because otherwise you're not gonna have something to kind of, or this accountability anchor when times get tough and when you're traveling and doing this and that, and making the hard choice over the easy choice, because obviously I'm guessing that was one of the kind of conflicting battles in your head as well, like once again traveling, doing this and that, is putting up all these excuses. That's just an excuse for maybe not like just
not commit.
committing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're spot on, and I really I do have the mindset that's like, hey, if I'm gonna commit to this, like I want to go all in on this, like you can only do so much for me, Lucas. You can give, and by the way, like it's been awesome. Like you helped me with the plans, you helped me with the workout, you helped me with the sleep schedule and like prioritizing that and every aspect of it. But that's all you can do, right? I have to make the decision then to say, okay, am I truly gonna do this? Am I gonna commit to this or not, right? And it was a little bit of a mind shift for me that I was like, okay, you know what, we're doing this. Like, why not? Like, doesn't make sense to go half in. Like, let's go all in with this. Let's go 100% with this and see what a drastic change it can have in my life. And I was ready at that point in my life to have that drastic change. Though a little bit hesitant at first, still like, all right, I guess we're doing this, right? Very quickly, it was like, oh wow, this is awesome. This is like exactly what I need to change my health journey and to jumpstart it.
Yeah, and just also a bit on that as well, like I guess guessing, but one of the variables that might have come into place as well is maybe, okay, we were on that first call going all the way to January, maybe not seeing like the results that you would have wanted yourself, just guessworking here, correct me if I'm wrong, but then also using that as kind of a bit of fuel to the fire to just, okay, yeah, let's just do
Yeah.
this.
No, that's 100% spot on. I think that like in life, it's important. I'm at least at the stage in life where it makes sense to get a coach in an area that I don't understand fully. I could sit and do the research and try and figure it out and whatnot, which quite frankly, I had tried to do that. Like kind of like I was like, yeah, let's research this and let's try and make healthier choices and whatnot. Dieting is too hard to be wondering, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not dieting correctly and you're just like I'm guessing that I'm getting this right, I'm hoping that I'm getting this right, there was a confidence that came with it that it was like, okay, Lucas has been where I've been at and he has had the transformation, he's had the health journey as well, I can trust him. And that gave me added confidence to stick to the plan and to stick to the schedule because I was like, hey, I trust this guy and I've seen what he's done for other people and I trust that he can do that for me. And so taking out the guesswork of it and just saying, hey, here's the plan, here's the process was very beautiful and actually helped me to get into that mindset a lot more of being 100% committed because it was ultimately like there is a proven path to this, just stick to the path, stick to the plan, and you can have the results too.
And I absolutely love that, Landon, because one of the things that I'm kind of battling sometimes as well is like maybe people not being like enough, or having like the how do you say it? Like the confident in what I'm doing is the right thing. Usually it's someone that might have like come into, I guess, my ecosystem pretty quickly and then just get on a call, want to do something. I think it could also have been very, very beneficial for our journey, Landon, that you didn't join that first time, because that gave you all this time to just continue, maybe to see other people getting the results and whatever. And at the point when you were like, okay, I'm gonna do this, you already knew that, okay, as long as I'm just putting in the work, I will get the results. And I think that is a very, very important thing as well, because if you start to question everything, is this gonna work, is this blah blah blah, you have a confirmation bias,
Mm-hmm.
in your head. So then you're gonna start to look for like the confirmation, that this is not working, and then that the whole mindset aspect is messed up. We actually talked to just a minute before we started recording here about this as well, like with your employees and everything, Landon. But like the mindset shift is, and just the mindset in general is the most important thing, and that's for
Yeah.
everything in life, I would argue, at least.
It's interesting, and I say this to lots of my coworkers, employees, people that I work with. Trust the process, right? And there is a principle of coming into this being teachable. It's like you might think you know a lot too, and that's great, and you're going to add on to that, but also be teachable in the sense that's like, hey, I trust that you've done this for other people. I've seen that you've done this for other people. I'm going to trust the process and have faith in that process that you can get me to where I need to be. And I don't know how much pushback you have from other clients or whatnot, but it is just very freeing to just be like, all right, like you're the coach, you're the master in this. I'm gonna stick into my lane of things that I know. This is an area where, hey, I don't know as much, and this is your area of expertise. I'm gonna trust you when it comes to what you're telling me and teaching me, and implement it to the best of my ability that I can.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I would be a complete like liar if I'm sitting here saying I have 100% success rate with all my clients and this and that, like, because that's literally impossible. But I see a very common like pattern amongst the clients that do get very, very good results and maybe not get any results. And it usually comes down to just kind of the belief in first of all themselves, but also, am I really doing the right thing? And as soon as you start to question everything and don't, as you said, trust the process, yeah, there's not a lot of things that can help you,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's where you steer off the path, and it's
Yeah.
like now you're back at the beginning anyways of trying a million different things, and oh, does this work or that work, and whatnot. And there is a big piece of it to just say the consistency of it. I think that lots of people can get bored of maybe eating some of the same stuff or doing some of the same exercises or whatnot with it. But that's where all the growth happens, to show up despite the boredom and to learn to love the boredom. James Clear talks about this in a book, Atomic Habits. It's an awesome book, but he talks about Olympic athletes and how what separates them from maybe just a regular athlete is they learn to love the boredom. They jump into that swimming pool and they're shaving off milliseconds, right? And they're doing the same thing over and over again each day. But because they're learning to love the boredom and to learn to love to just showing up and to being consistent, that's what separates them from an average athlete to an Olympic gold medalist, right? And
Yeah.
And the cool thing is there's definitely variety in the food that we're eating and the exercises that we're doing and whatnot. In fact, it's a very refreshing way to approach health and whatnot, because we're looking at every aspect of health, not just your diet, but not just your exercise or whatnot. It's looking at everything from doing blood work to looking at what supplements I should be taking. It does spice it up, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is like you got to show up and keep doing the things that work on a consistent basis. Otherwise, you're never going to get the results. So trusting that process, that it's like, it's going to come, and the results have been fun. And quite frankly, I'm not there yet. I think we were chatting a little bit before the call too. Like, it's funny, I've kind of like opened up the door to see like, hey, I have a lot of potential, and I have so much more potential on this health journey of areas that I can go. And I haven't arrived yet. And I don't want anyone watching this to be like, wow, he's arrived. Like that's not it at all. Like, I feel a lot healthier. I feel a lot more energized. I feel stronger. I feel there's just so many areas of my health that has improved. I haven't arrived yet. I feel like I'm kind of at the beginning of it, and it's been so fun so far.
Yeah, and that's one of my core principles as well. Like, when we're done, you shouldn't be done. I've told you this multiple times as well. Like, I'm just steering you on the right path. From there, the consistency will only compound, so that we will only get better and better. Like, imagine how far you've come in this short amount of time. What happens if you continue sticking to these same principles, the same philosophies, and just continue to put in the work? Where are you going to be in 3 years, in 5 years? Like, because
It
yeah,
compounds.
the snowball
Yep.
effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just gets better.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah.
does. It's funny that you mentioned that too, Lucas, because there was, I mean, for my work, I do travel a bunch, and obviously I'm trying to make healthy choices. I remember it was almost like a week span of just like, I'm trying to make the healthiest choices that I can. It's not like sticking perfectly to the diet or whatnot, but it's like, it's close enough. But like, there were some moments where you could say I was cheating or whatnot with it, just because I didn't really have a ton of options and with my schedule and whatnot. But it's funny, I craved eating and going back to like my body was craving to just do the things that you had taught me to do. And it's like, how funny is that like the second that the diet is over, the training period is over, people are like, sweet, now I can go back to eating what I want to eat. And it's like, my body wasn't craving that at all. It was craving to keep doing what I'd been doing, which I thought was really cool. And I was like, that's a great sign for me, that it's like, I'm excited to continue doing this. And my wife, by the way, she's been helping me out in this journey and helping meal prep and whatnot with this. She's like, wow, I'm just so proud of you for being so consistent and for like always just striving to eat this. I'm like, I actually crave it. I want to do that because like I've gotten it in my system over time to want to eat the right thing. I feel better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've told you that again, Anna, but you should hold on to her very, very hard. Everyone needs
She's
Landon
a
to
great support. Yep, she helps me out. I couldn't have done this journey without her. I'll say that. She has been my support from day one. So she helped me get to you and make the connection there. She's helped me with meal prepping. She's been a big advocate and support with that. So I would be lying here if I was taking all the credit. I think she's the real MVP, and probably you should be interviewing her, not me. So.
Yeah, let's see. We might run a part two with Landon. So,
There we go.
all right, Landon. I want to jump into some questions. I also like, or tell me this. I want to hear from your own perspective. Where or what was holding you back before you reached out? First of all, you kind of touched a bit on it, but also like where were you in your health journey and everything
Yeah.
when we before.
Yeah, before honestly, I had some family members, some friends that had hired coaches before and had gotten good results, but they had all said the same thing, like it's so hard and it's tough to keep up with it. And quite frankly, I don't even think that they were doing the holistic approach to it as well. Like it was just like pump a bunch of protein drinks into your body and like I don't know, it was just very much so like take the pre-workout and like get pumped and shredded and whatnot. And once again, like I was looking for it, like I want to be healthy throughout all of this as well. I was in a stage in my life where that I was just like, hey, I got to be able to be my best self, to show up for my employees, to show up for my coworkers, to show up for everyone. They deserve the best version of me. And so where I was at was definitely in a place where I felt overweight, I felt sluggish, I felt slow, a little bit even mentally, like that it was just like that, I don't know, like what you put into your body very much so affects what goes on up here too. And so I don't know, I was just in a stage where I would look at myself in the mirror and it was kind of like, I know you can do better. But there was also, and we touched on this a little bit before, of like, well, I've tried to eat healthy before and I don't really see the results with it. So it is a little bit of like guesswork. And you have to be consistent with it. And so I'm like, I want to be consistent with it, but if I'm guessing over a long period of time, what happens if I get a year into this and it's like, well, I just was guessing that whole time anyways and I didn't get the results. And so I was really in a stage where it was like, okay, I do want to make some changes with my sleep, with my diet, with my exercising and whatnot. And so that's kind of the stage of where I was at. And do you want me to talk about that journey then at all, or like
Shoot.
just
Shoot.
okay? Yeah, I mean it's been fun. I highly recommend taking the before and after picture. I almost didn't do like I was like like I don't know if I need to be taking a picture each day, but I'm so glad that I followed your advice and did that because it is so fun. Like I still to this day will like just stare at that picture on January 15th or January 10th, whenever we met up, and comparing it to now, like I wouldn't say it's like, oh my gosh, different human being, but in lots of ways I'm like, wow, like I feel very proud of looking at where I was to where I am now, just with the physique. And once again, internally too, like mentally I feel a lot better. I like definitely wasn't prioritizing sleep as much. Like I was like, you just push through, like don't be weak, like you don't need sleep. And it's like, no, sleep is a very important part of this too. And if I want that mental clarity and to be physically strong, sleep is such an important part of that too. And so, yeah, it was fun just kind of seeing where I was versus where I'm at now through that whole process.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think it's been a very fun journey, and you should definitely. I told you this last time we spoke as well. Like, give yourself a bit of a clap on the shoulder as well, because yeah,
Thank you.
I think the results has been amazing. Obviously, you put in the work, so that's what should be expected if you're actually sticking
I
to.
appreciate that. One thing I'll just add on to that, it's actually tough for me to be like, hey, you're doing a good job, Landon, or hey, I'm really proud of the results that you've had. Like, that's just not who I am. Like, and I'm working at that. But like, there was even this morning, because I knew we were hopping on, and just after morning run, I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, you really have come like such a long ways. And like just having this moment of gratitude of just like, it's really cool to see where you started at with this and how far you've come. And once again, not finished, but like just celebrating those wins along the way and where I'm at as of today. Like it is really awesome. And the contrast, I guess, from starting in January 1st, looking at myself in the mirror and being like, yeah, I can do a whole lot better, to looking at myself in the mirror today, being like, yeah, I'm really proud and grateful for how far I've come. It's a beautiful feeling that like money can't buy. Like it only comes through hard work and really making a commitment to yourself and fulfilling that commitment to yourself. That's how you get true confidence, you know?
Yeah, 100%. No facade could ever like compare to, just once again, we talked about this right before we got going as well, that like constant confirmation that you are who you say you are, you're capable of what you put your mind to, and you stay true to your like values, I guess, and
Yeah.
it's yeah,
You,
it's
you know, one way, and I chat about this with my employees a lot, building confidence, it's making commitments to yourself and then following through with it, right? If we tell ourselves that we're going to do something and then we don't do it, that destroys confidence, you
yeah.
know? And I've become a much more confident person through this process because I've made that commitment. And for the most part, I'm not perfect, but I've followed through with it.
Yeah, 100%. I guess also, Landon, what or how has like dropping this like excess body fat, I think we definitely can say, putting on some size and just prioritizing your actual health a bit more, done for you, not just from like a health point of view, but also like outside of that, just work
Yeah,
wise, relationship wise. Tell
yeah.
me.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started this, I think I was weighing in about like 175, and then I dropped a ton of body fat and whatnot, and then putting on muscle. And so it was fun having that journey. But a big piece of this, I remember when we started off, you had kind of asked me the question, like, why do you want to do this? I'm like, oh, I want to get in shape. And you're like, yeah, like, but why? You know, like that's like a very superficial like reason to do this. That's great. You want to get in shape, but like there's got to be a deeper meaning behind all of this, right? And by the way, that's a beautiful principle when you're trying to get to the core of something, of to ask people why a couple of times. And so, getting further into my why, it came down to it that I was like, well, I do want to be there for my wife. I want to be able to be healthy for her. I want to be like ultimately for myself. I want to be able to like show up and to be able to be there for my future children, and to be healthy and to be making decisions right now so that I can be my best version years down the line. I want to be there for my wife, to be able to support her and to be able to provide for her and whatnot. And I just can't do that if I don't have health. It's really interesting that like, you know, everybody seems to have a lot of problems, but the second you don't have health, your number one problem is just quite frankly that, right? And usually people start thinking about that once they don't have their health. And so for me, ultimately, it was like, hey, I really need to be conscientious of this, so that way I can be my absolute best self and show up for my future children, to show up for my wife, to show up for myself. And quite frankly, a big piece of that too was even showing up for coworkers and employees as well. That it's like, how can they look to me as a leader if I can't, like, if I tell them, hey, do hard things, but I myself can't go out and do hard things, right? And how can I show up for them if I don't have my health in a situation, in a place where they can be inspired or look to that and be like, wow, he's doing the right things, right? And so ultimately, that was my deeper why, taking this full circle, is it's like I needed that to become the best version of myself. And once again, I'm not there. I'm still chasing that person. But really, like, that was like a very important aspect of it, that if I didn't have my health, I really wouldn't have a whole lot. And I couldn't show up for those people, and I couldn't provide for those people. I couldn't help be a leader to those people. And so it all started with that health, you know, that it was like, I have to have this so that I can be there, you know?
Yeah, I love this saying that the best way to, or I don't know exactly how the saying goes, but it's like the best, sometimes the best things you can do for the people around you is to be like egotistical and focus on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you being able to like bring your best version, your healthiest version to this earth and bring that energy, that is gonna do so much for all the people around you rather than you just like limiting yourself and always prioritizing other people around you before you prioritize yourself, right? It's very easy, and I feel like especially with you, Landon, I feel like you're a very like nice, genuine guy. You care around once again like the people around you. It's very easy to put yourself like second or even third on the priority list, but sometimes putting yourself at that number one spot is the best thing you can do for everyone around you as well.
It's such an interesting principle because it almost seems selfish to think of it that way. And that's actually something I've struggled with before in my life. But how can you help other people if you yourself aren't in a good stage to help other people, right? Like you almost have to put yourself first in order to make sure you're in a stage so that you can help out other people. I think of on the airplane, it's like, hey, put your, like if the little mask comes down, it's you've got to put yours on first before you can help other people. Because
No,
how are
but
you going to help
yeah,
other people if you're passed out, you know? Um, and,
selflessness.
and and so it just comes back to that principle, you know, that it's like, hey, I got to be right first so that I can serve other people and help other people and help them to level up their life.
Yeah, awesome. Len, if you got to go back in time a bit and give I guess maybe the Landon that was on that first call and was a bit or had a bit of hesitation, should I do this or not? Give him some advice based on where you're at right now. What would you tell
Yeah.
that old Landon?
It's a good question. A conversation with my old self. Honestly, I think the obvious one, just from our conversation, is jump into it, do it. Ultimately, that's what lots of people were telling me, and I was still a little bit hesitant. So, like, you have to be in the right stage for that. And you'll know when you're ready because you'll be ready. You'll know
Yeah,
that you're ready to jump into it and whatnot. But ultimately, trusting that process again, just I think I needed to see a little bit of evidence of people and their success stories. And once again, I started seeing that and I was just like, hey, I need to make that change. And so just saying, like, honestly, my biggest thing is like, why didn't I do it sooner? You know, like I was pushing it off, like, once again, waiting for a perfect time. And so the conversation that I maybe would have said is like, there's not going to be a perfect time. In fact, just so you know, life's going to get even crazier, right? Me and my wife, we're expecting a baby girl in November, and so things have been getting even crazier with the baby on the way and whatnot. And once the baby's here, it'll be even crazier. And so for me, it was just ultimately like, hey, you know what? Like, there's never going to be a perfect time. Life's going to get crazier. You might as well figure out right now how to jump in and to rock and roll with this. So.
yeah. And if someone else is watching this, they're a bit on the fence about should I even get coaching in the first place or this and that. Maybe been a bit stagnant in their own journey, in their own health. What advice would you give those people?
Yeah, I'm at a place in my life where I've learned that there's really good people that have mastered certain areas of their life. And Lucas, you've mastered the health area, right? That it's like you know what you're doing. And so instead of playing guesswork, instead of trying to figure it out yourself, trust in a coach that's been where you're at and can help you get to where you need to be. And ultimately, like, I look at you and you're leaps and bounds further ahead of me. You're about to run your an Ironman in a week or so. I know you've been doing a lot of training and whatnot. And we were joking before the call. I'm like, man, I can't wait in a couple of years or maybe even sooner to be in that situation and in that place, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm always trying to progress and whatnot and to get further. But yeah, for someone that's on the fence about jumping in or whatnot, I'd say trust the process, trust that Lucas knows what he's doing, and that if you just follow what he says and does, you'll get the results with it, right? You can play the guesswork. It's too hard, in my opinion. Like you can totally go down that route, but once again, if you're 6 months into it and you're like, am I doing this right? is all this effort and tough like dedication that I've been putting into, like, is it actually getting me the results where I want to be? Or you can hire a coach and 6 months later have the results you want and be like, I'm really glad that I have the knowledge, I have the path, I have the system for doing it, and I can continue on in my path and journey.
Yeah, I think that was some really good advice. Um, to be honest, I don't have any or a lot more questions, Lan. I think you
We
talked
hit
about
it.
your journey very well, and I guess, do you have any final words that you wanna leave the listeners with, or
Honestly, I would just pass a word of gratitude to you, Lucas. Once again, it has been such a life changing event to focus on every aspect of my life. Health wise, right? From blood work to dieting to exercising to grounding to breathing to meditation to expressing gratitude to spiritually improving to reading. Like there's so many categories that we're looking into that are going to push a healthy lifestyle and to help us to become our best versions. And so, yeah, for the listeners that are just maybe on the fence or debating or whatnot, like it's totally worth it to jump in and to jump into that role of chasing your best self. It's a much more fulfilling lifestyle. It's a much more uh, uh, like you have a whole lot more gratitude and appreciation for it. So I just want to thank you, man, for the fun journey that this has been. And once again, it's the beginning of the journey. It's like I still feel like I'm close to the starting line, but I'm like, wow, this is a fun race, and I'm excited to keep running the race.
yeah, it's as you said there before as well, like finally now walking past that mirror and having that whole like self reflections shifted from I know I can do so much better than this to I know what I'm capable of. I know I'm on the right path. I know that if I just continue to put in the work, uh, it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna happen. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Once again, I appreciate you jumping on Landon, and
Thanks for having me on.
yeah, thanks for sharing your little journey, and hope you guys that are listening this deep in almost 30 minutes got some value out of it or some insights. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you.